Good afternoon, everyone. Ahmed here from my platform on Facebook, and also I have a page called Beyond the Rant, and a YouTube channel called Beyond the Rant that I made years ago, and that I'm pretty much committed to. And also my Instagram page, which used to be Beyond the Rant, but I changed my theme because I have progressed in my own understanding of information. And that Instagram page is American Desi _Guru. American Desi _Guru. Very simple. But I wanted to give a unofficial post khutbah. You know, it's Friday, and Fridays are days where people have, you know, they're happy, they're joyous. You know, the energy of Friday's in the air, you know. People are they don't have to go to work tomorrow. That's exactly why, you know, because Friday is the day where Saturday you can sleep in. But that was the case when I was younger. But it seems like nowadays, you know, banks are open on Saturdays, and like the jobs where Saturdays and Sundays you had off, people still work those days. So you can't even have Friday anymore. To be honest with you, you can't have Friday anymore in this system. In this system of reality that we have knowingly and unknowingly signed up for, or knowingly. But the truth is hidden in plain sight. It's right under your nose. The truth is under your nose. And I want to shed some light on that truth right now. So you probably heard the terminology left-hand path. Left-hand path, right-hand path. You know? For example, the left-hand path is synonymous with black magic, with evil, with darkness. You know, the left hand, it's treacherous, it's unsavory. You know, left hand is dirty. You know, you do a bunch of rituals and things like that. That is the definition of left hand path for majority of the people that are on the right hand path. And even the word itself, right hand, left hand. You know, think about it. In our, not just our religious beliefs, not just in Islam, but in the Western monotheistic religions, if you can call it that, the Western religions, which is Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the left hand is synonymous with mistrust, with something that is looked upon as evil, as bad. And we, as majority of the people, not me, but majority of the people, have bought into that notion of the definition of the left hand. And the right hand is clean. It's you know, you give blessings with your right hand. You shake people's hand with your right hand. You know, do all these things with your right hand, and your right foot too. You know, you step inside a room with your right foot. You don't enter anything with your left foot. And I'm going to tie this in together. Okay, that's the left hand. And the right hand is good. It's pure, you know? You eat with your right hand. You wash you wash yourself with your left hand, you know? I mean, that says a lot. I mean, that's it. But so this is where the trick is. This is where the trick is, where you are controlled. Okay? The left hand, the left side of the human body, from if you cut it in half, the left side is controlled by the right brain. The right brain, which is the feminine aspect of our being, of our energy, you know, of ourselves, the feminine aspect. It's known as the serpent. You know, it's known as the left hand, which is the right brain, is synonymous with serpent in esoteric symbolism. It's synonymous with female. It's synonymous with sex. It's synonymous with, you know, those are more looked upon the bad things, right? With like desire and lust. Okay? But the right brain, the feminine brain, is also where the creative energy starts from. Okay? That's where it is from, the right side of the brain. Okay? The imagination is from the right side of the brain. The creative aspect of ourselves is from the right side of the brain. And the left side, which is controlled by the right hand and the right side of the body, the right side of the body is controlled by the left side of the brain, which is the masculine brain, Now, the left-hand path and the right-hand path, what does that have to do with anything? So the right-hand path is the path of the masculine brain, of the logic side of the brain, heavy-handed in logic. It's all about logic. It's about suppressing those desires of all those lust of desire, right? Of those that aspect of ourselves, to suppress it. You know, it suppresses it. And you can live that way. People, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't really care if you are on the left-hand path or the right-hand path or whatever path you're on. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just explaining to you the metaphysics of how your life is manifested because of the energies. Now, you got to think of everything as energy. See, the left masculine energy is logic, it's structure, it's rigidness, okay? And the right side is imagination, it's fluidity, it's the place where you can imagine yourself to blossom. You know, the logic side, you can't imagine that. You know, you might look in the mirror and be like, you know, you have a desire to get healthy again, you know, to get your body in shape again. But then you look in the mirror and then logic brain takes over because you are living a right-hand path. You are all about logic, all about structure and logic, and you look in the mirror and you're like, well, you know, you can't do it today because you're busy. So you suppress that thought and you say, okay, you do it tomorrow. Okay, and then tomorrow never comes, you know, or the logic side, which comes after that imagination. It says to you, well, okay, you can't work out because of these logical reasons, and it suppresses that thought. Now, there's a shortfall on living that left-hand path also. Because the left-hand path is synonymous with that creative energy, that imagination. And that's where you can think of the creator, and you can have these lower desires and all that stuff. But the thing is, you see that there's no fulfillment in you know, always going after your lust and your left-handed desires all the time, you know? That's why there's a middle path. See, there's a middle path. It's a life that is from the creative aspect of your imagination, because we are limitless, your imagination, and then you take that blueprint, you take that idea and imagination and feeling that you have evoked inside of you, about your future self. You know, you took that imagination and you contemplated it, and you imagined it as if it is already true. And that body has felt that feeling of, okay, wow, that's how it would feel. You know, then you take that feeling and you give it to the logic side with that blueprint of that feeling, and you tell the logic side to build it. That's what the logic side, that's what the masculine person's supposed to do. You know, it's very simple. We have to live a middle path. And if you don't understand how you're tricked and you're suppressing your right hand side, your right brain, then this won't make sense to you. You know, you have to know that you are being suppressed, and look at your life now. You know, it's heavy-handed in logic, and the more even it is, the better your life is probably, actually. But look at it this way. I mean, most people are on logic. You know, if I told you that, you know, this is the real truth, then your logic kicks in, and you're like, that's not true. Look, I can see this, and this is that. Well, you can't use logic to get to the Creator, that divine spark in you. You can't get to that divine spark through logic. That's the trick. See? But like any trick in this system, you have to agree to it. You have to agree to give off the energy you want to give off. You know, and the reason why now, you know, I said I don't care what path somebody takes, but actually it does make a difference if someone is taking the right hand path, which is the masculine path. It does make a difference to me, because you know why? Because that person will be so rigid in their belief, so rigid in their way of doing things, that if anybody else is doing it some other way, they're gonna get upset. They will they will forcibly want to make that person be rigid just like them, and use the left side of the brain to create, instead of the creative side of the brain, which is the right side of the brain. So that person is dangerous. That's where you get wars and you get all this turmoil, because, oh, you're not doing it the way I'm telling you. And it's like, but the crazy thing is, the people at the top, they understand this. They understand it's a balance between the two sides, the two energies. It's a balance. In the unseen, it is a balance of the energies, which is the right side and the left side. It's a balance in the unseen, in the energy realm, in the unseen realm of energy, of energy. You know, anger has a energy signature. It has a vibration, a tone, a certain vibration. You can tell when someone is angry without even them talking or telling you they're angry. You can tell there's a vibe in the air, right? Or of jealousy. That's a feeling you have, a feeling, a vibration. Or joy. That is a vibration, a feeling state. Or when when you feel loved unconditionally, or when you feel appreciated, that is a state of vibration. When you feel secure, when you feel like you have unlimited expansion ahead of you. You're not limited by anything. That is a feeling state first. Then it can manifest into the scene, because whatever it comes in reality has to come from the unseen first. And from our mind, the unseen part, the creative part, is the right side, and the logic, the structure, the rigidness, that is the left side. You gotta use both of them in balance. Yeah. Okay. And just like the unseen, it's the right energies and the left energy, and all kinds of different vibrations and stuff, which is all energy. It is manifested to the physical. You know, that's why you see so much friction in the community, because we've been, Islam was that gap, was that bridge between the Eastern thought and the Western thought. It was that gap between, you know, maybe like the Eastern thought was way too much into the right side of the brain and the left-hand path, and the Western, you know, you know, you got the Gnostics, and then they became Christian, and, you know, then you have the Jewish people that became Christian, and they came down and conquered the spiritual lands of Kemet, and all of a sudden they became Jewish, you know, Hebrews, they're not really Hebrews, you know, they just took over lands, conquered them, because you know, they conquered the lands, and they took over. And when you take over people, you take over their religion first, you take over their spirituality first, and then basically as time went on, you know, that was the West, and then Islam comes in, you know, and it was a balance between the whites and the blacks. It's like the balance between. It is the middle path. It is the middle, you know, it's the Middle East, right? That's why they call it the Middle East. Okay, so it was you know, that's being a real Muslim, actually. It's understanding that we're not just in this physical reality. There is a unseen realm. There is a fourth dimension. There is a fifth dimension, you know, and we can understand it. You know, we're allowed to understand it, because if you don't understand it correctly, then, and someone else does, they're gonna be controlling you because of your lack of knowledge, because you've been told, and now everything you do is to show the dominant society, oh, look at us, look at this, that's the masjid, you know, like $4 million, you know, it looks really nice, right? And they can say, look, it's a beautiful masjid in Corona, and but it's empty all week long, you know? I mean, they have Sunday school and that kind of stuff, that usual stuff that, you know, the Christian people have too, you know? They have that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, how to live a life of balance is not being shown. It's not being talked about. Today, actually, the khutbah was pretty good. But, you know, it was good. But in the end, it was always about, like, this is the system, and that's the only path, you know? I'm saying is that there's a lot that we haven't been privied to. There's a lot we haven't been told about our own religion. We haven't been told, and the people that have told us, I mean, they've been told by somebody else too, you know? And who have they been told by? What government gave them that information, controls that actual etymology of that information? You know, who controls it? Okay, fine. The Sunni Islam is controlled by the let's just be honest, with Sunni Islam is more, it's controlled by, like, you know, it's in Medina, that's the center of Islam, right? Mecca, Medina, it's the center of Islam. Yes, they're cities, but they're controlled by a certain government, and that same government that disseminates the knowledge to this, you know, to the institutions. It's the same government that you know, kills other Muslims, you know, civilians, neighboring countries, you know, that also support other dictators, you know, and they're dictators themselves, you know. So I don't understand. I mean, but then when I say that to somebody, then they're like, well, that has nothing to do with it. Come on, are you kidding me? That has everything to do with it. You know, there's how many sects of Islam are there? You know, and Sunni Islam is what? The majority? So if the majority are on the true way of a Muslim supposed to be, then why is the majority having such big problems? Right here in America, mentally, physically, emotionally. You know, yes, outwardly they might look great, but there's something rotting inside. There's something being suppressed inside. It's that suppression. You cannot suppress that main part of your being, that right hand, the right brain. You cannot suppress your imagination. You cannot suppress your longing for knowledge of Allah, to know the elements, to know the elements, to understand how to be one with the creation. Not trying to dominate it all the time and saying it's our right to. No, we're like vicegerents here. We're not dominators of this 3D reality. We are a part of it. Our physical body comes from the same elements that tree comes from. The stone. We have silica in us. We have copper inside of us. We have granite. We have these stones in us, right? We have iron in us. Some people less, some people are anemic, So yeah, I mean, we are, our physical body is tied to this physical realm. But we have a spirit that is not tied to this realm. That can imagine anything for this physical, creation. You want a life of abundance? You have to imagine it first for yourself, no matter what condition you're in. If you can imagine a image of yourself where you're happy and you're truly doing what you love, and you're spreading a good energy around, you're spreading energy, you're exuding energy that other people want, and it's not like you're hoarding it. It's like you have so much energy, you're just spilling it out, and it's like you can't help. People can't help but be drawn to you. If that's the person you want to be, you have to imagine that person first. And then how do you become that person? Through that right side, right brain, and putting it in the left brain. You take it from the unseen. You take it from the unseen and you put it in the seen. By ritual, by evoking different feelings amongst yourself, in yourself. This is alchemy. To take the feelings, maybe you had a rough childhood, You had a rough childhood. Now you're an adult, and that rough childhood is still, it's like lead, and it's still holding you down. You have to transmute that energy that's holding you down, and you have to transmute the energy into something higher, something like gold, And if you want to transmute lead into gold, you have to purify lead. I'm not saying, okay, you're being technical if you're saying, oh, well, lead is not gold, you can't do that. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying is that you gotta take that lead and you gotta turn it into gold, and there's a process. And in that process, you have to understand this reality. You have to understand the dimensions we're in, You have to understand that this is an illusion. And most people are sleepwalking because they're getting their cues from the dominant society. They're getting their cues from everybody else, how to live, how to actually do this and that. But the crazy thing is, the religion actually is a good thing. It came to actually, it's something that is within us, because if we are sending a bat, for example, we say we're jealous of somebody, right? Like, Islam says you shouldn't be jealous of your brother or sister, you shouldn't be jealous, or you shouldn't, you shouldn't be jealous of them, right? Like, say somebody had a new car and you're looking at their car and you're jealous. You're like, oh, how come they have it? Oh, look at them. Oh, they're showing off. And you that builds resentment. That's energy in yourself that's building resentment, and that resentment's turned into hate, and then you might do something, you know, or you might suppress it, doing something to that person, but you might take it out on your family. That is that kind of understanding of energy. That is what religion teaches us, if you are on that middle path. But people have forgotten that. Well, I'm not saying people have forgotten it. Like I said, lands were conquered, people were subjugated, teachings were hidden from the common society where everybody knew this, you know? Like, do you think that, like, for example, today's Friday, do you think that at the Prophet's time, do you think, or before, even before, do you think that Bedouins would be like, oh, Friday, it's Friday now, oh, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, and then the next day is Sunday, and then Monday's coming up? You think they thought like this? They didn't think. They knew what Friday was because of the energy of that day. Because, actually, this gets into another point. Islam is more of a energy, of that creative energy. We have our imagination. We understand that there's jinns. We understand that there's another realm and realities. We understand we're in an illusion. Because we are, and you know where we get that? We are more of a lunar, we have a lunar calendar, you know? A lunar calendar. The more east you go, it's more of a lunar calendar. It's about the moon, you know, like there's 4 weeks in a month, right? And every Friday, there's 4 Fridays in a month. And is it possible that, hey, maybe a moon cycle is every quarter moon? It's time to have the prayer, you know, every quarter, you know, or a sermon that gets together the community and sets the agenda and sets the intention to have to worship the Creator properly and live a balanced life every quarter. Yes, but do you think they did that every Friday? No, they understood the moon cycles and that kind of stuff. You know, Muslims back then, the Sahabas and the prophets, they understood this energy and actually the Gregorian calendar, the Christian calendar that we copy now, is actually a very masculine energy, which is represented by the sun. The sun is a masculine energy. The moon is a feminine energy. This is a fact. Okay. Moon is a feminine energy. That's why, people in like the Dark Ages in Europe, they had like women that were like naked doing rituals on a full moon. Because they were drawing that energy from that moon, creative energy. That's why you hear these crazy stories about like witchcraft and this and that done on full moons and this and that, which actually you should pray on you should meditate on a full moon. Try it one day. Try it on a full moon and you will feel the difference. Meditate on a full moon and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, if you don't meditate, then you are on the right-hand path. You are all about logic and what you see, and that's it. And that's not a way to live, I mean, I'm saying you can live that way. That's fine, but if you're getting ulcers, if you are, you don't agree with anybody on that, when someone doesn't agree with you, how do you get? Do you get angry when you don't agree with someone doesn't agree with you? Do you get like, oh, how come he doesn't understand me, or how come she doesn't understand me? Why do I need for you to understand me? Seriously, why do I need anybody to understand me? So I can validate my knowing? No. Most people that want a bunch of people to understand them, they want validation of their understanding. That's pretty much true, But yeah, I mean, you have to live a balanced path. You gotta start imagining more, use your right side of your brain more, use that feminine aspect of yourself more, intuition, have more sympathy, think with more understanding, don't just take a polarity of an issue and take sides. No, you just go above that polarity. You make a third. There's no, it's not only two choices. It says, the left-hand path, right-hand path explained. Those are just two paths. There's a middle path, a balance of both. And once you have a balance of those in the energy realm and the unseen realm, then you will have it has to manifest out into your physical manifestation. And the crazy thing is, once that shift happens, people around you, other Muslims around you, are going to start to be concerned and start questioning you about your belief. It's happened to me. They're going to start questioning you about your belief. All of a sudden, they're going to start projecting their, they're going to spit out what they've learned, almost to try to prove to themselves by trying to prove to me that they're right, or they're on, they are they're doing on the correct path, and I have to be careful, and the whole time, I understand now, it's about polarity. It's not about, just your gut reaction. We're just all about our gut reaction. We don't, sit back and we don't, assess the situation. Of course, there's times that logic is the conclusion, but you have to be, at a mindset where you can utilize those energies of logic or of imagination when it is needed. But we are so left-handed, so left-brained, right-handed that, imagination, creativity, that was sponged out of our life by the time we're like 12, 13, 14 years old. Because now, we have to, boom, no, can't imagine those things anymore. You have to do these things. That's a logical thing to do, is this stuff. You can't do that thing. You can't imagine that. Because I can't imagine. Okay, you guys. And ladies, and my ladies out there, come on. Seriously, you have to take control. You are the embodiment of the feminine aspect of the mind. You're the physical manifestation of the feminine aspect of the mind. You have a feminine aspect and a masculine aspect. Now, even you, sisters, have suppressed your feminine side by many reasons. You can only answer that question. You have given yourself to a very patriarchal system. This is a man's world, because this world was taken from the women, and the knowledge of the understanding of this energy of balance, it was suppressed. It's suppressed so well that the majority of people in the world that have the power, they are these Western faiths, these Western systems, dogmatic systems. And where you see that there isn't a Western system influence, you'll see that there is peace, there is harmony, there's more harmony, there's more peace, there's more harmony, like Malaysia. I know they have some problems, but it's a pretty, it's a high-tech place. It is technologically very advanced. It is spiritually it seems like it's, very very different than like what we have here, you know. Their understanding is different because they've been taught differently. They've been taught under the umbrella of a different system, a different filter. Our filter had to go through the Vatican, had to go through, you know, what kind of society they've built in the United States. You know, we do live in a bubble. But since the advent of the explosion of social media, that bubble has, it's bursting. It's bursting right now. It's bursting. And if you don't understand this, you are going to freaking be destroyed. Your life is going to get worse because you're going to lose a grip on people. They're not going to understand you because you're all, you know, you're going to be like, oh, how come they're not thinking like me? And then you're going to be more rigid and you're going to be forcing, you know, your views on your family members more and more. Okay. There's hope. And just understand that we're not just this physical, you know, it's not just this physical realm. There's an unseen realm where you can harness energies, you can understand, you know, polarity, you can understand vibration, you can understand matter, you can understand these things. And once you understand that, you'll understand that everyone is a reflection of you, you know? Or you're a reflection of them. So if I see somebody and I look at them and I'm like, oh, look at that person, he's a blah 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 arrogant, that is a reflection of, that is in me. That's more like, prime example, you see somebody in a Ferrari, right? And there's two kinds of people. There's one person that's like, oh, look at that person, he got that car, oh, what a waste of money, with that money I would have done this, I would have done that, that is a reflection of you wanting that money, thinking that if you had that kind of money, you would do something better with it because you are so much better. Not knowing that he didn't or she didn't get that Ferrari. That Ferrari aligned with their energy. You know, they can possibly afford it, afford to maintain it, afford to garage it, afford all that stuff. Ferrari requires that kind of energy, person with that kind of energy that can maintain a Ferrari. Now you can say a bad person can have one, yeah, but in the end, when that bad person is gone, when the FBI or the IRS raids them, that Ferrari goes somewhere else. It's pretty interesting how everything is a reflection of, it's an energy. It evokes the energy. You know, a Ferrari attracts people. You know, a Porsche, it attracts people because it's high energy. Because the person that made, Enzo Ferrari didn't start making Ferrari because from his logic. See, he didn't build Ferrari, the car company. Enzo Ferrari is the founder and starter of the car company, Ferrari. He didn't start it from logic, There's no logic in what he did. It's all creativity, it's all imagination, it's all a higher understanding. He wanted to embody Italy in a car. He wanted to have the artistry of Italy and the red tomatoes, in their spaghetti, that red tomato. He wanted a Ferrari he wanted his car, his creation, from his creative energy to embody Italy, So he didn't do it from logic. It wasn't because he wanted to make a lot of money and be known. That's not why. See, Porsche, he didn't start his company Yeah. I think that was his daughter's name. That was his daughter's name. See, these people are German too, you know? And also Ford, you know, all these, oh gosh. I mean, these people understood energy. They are, you know, those people that understand this, if you understand the metaphysics, if you understand energy, if you understand polarity, you understand the Hermetic principles, and you can apply it in your life, and you can live that balanced path, you can do anything. These are the kinds of people that create something in society that transcends like logic. You know, there's no logic for Ferrari to exist, but things don't exist that are worthwhile from logic. See, from logic, you can only create something by looking at your competitor, or by scheming to exploit somebody else's feeling. You know, you can do that with logic, but with the creative side of you, you can create something from your true divine spark in you. And to do that, you have to go to the right side, your feminine mind, the darkness, the left side of your body, which is the right side of your brain. You have to understand darkness. Darkness is not void of light. Darkness is all light in like one, you know? Now, daytime, that has one light, the light of the sun. That's crazy. That's deep. That is one light. That's a false light. That's a false light. That light is the sun. It's a false light. And by living a life based on logic and based on that reflection of that false light, that is being a sun worshiper, actually. Yeah. Yes, I said that. Okay, it's deep. It's deep, but that's the truth, you know. The truth is, you know, either you're going to resonate with what I said, or you're gonna not. But I'll guarantee you one thing. I cracked that dome of yours, but know that paradigm of not understanding the self, that time of like only logic and rigidness in everything we do, in terms of how we are supposed to make money. You know, money is just currency, right? It's currency. Currency requires current, and current comes from somewhere. It comes from yourself. It comes from us. You are the battery. You are the limitless battery. You have to fill yourself with energy enough somebody else would want that energy. And then, hey, we have paper money for medium of exchange. It's a bunch of numbers. You know? Or if you have a dozen eggs, you know, I can trade with you. Whatever, you know, but we live in a place where we are required to have that paper money to do transactions, to live a life that we want to live, you know? If I want to travel to Europe, I can't pay in, I can't pay in, like, duffel bags of, like, rosemary, you know? But, yeah. It's a deep understanding, and, it is the true, it's being a true Muslim, actually. And once you see it, and you actually start going on that path, you'll start to see that this is the false light. And, yeah. It's deep. It is a lot that has been not been told to us on purpose, because this is very empowering information. This gives you power. You know, you're like an avatar. You're an avatar. And deep inside you, who can, you know, what is that divine spark? You know, what is that divine spark? What is it? It is the Creator. It is that spark, that vibration, that word, you know, that breath of the Creator, the Most High. Okay. Knowing that, how are you going to walk? You know, how are you going to talk? How are you going to eat? How are you going to live your life? How are you going to understand reality? How are you going to understand other people? If you don't know yourself, you know? Okay, know thyself. Know thyself. Alright, that was my post-Jummah khutbah. I hope I entice some kind of emotion in you, some kind of vibration inside you, maybe of anger or of confusion or of laughter. I don't know. Just let me know. I can't read your mind. Let me know. And please follow me. Share this video if it made sense to you. If you want somebody else to hear it, share it. And if you are interested in this kind of topic that I talk about, follow me on Instagram. I talk about personal development and knowing thyself and understanding this this illusion and how to walk that line. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've had a lot of struggles. I have struggles. I have always, you know, the Mr. Smith is always in my face, you know. But like Neo, you got to practice. You know, you got to practice, and you got to hone in on your skills and your understanding of energy and how to move the energy, how to evoke different feelings inside you, how to evoke different memories to give you strength, to give you willpower, to give you that kick in the ass, you know, when you need to go to the gym, you know, that kind of stuff. You can get that from within you. That is energy. That's literally energy. You know, to give you, it's like, it's better than a cup of coffee, you know. For example, I'll end with this. It's Saturday night. No, let's just say it's Sunday night, right? Most people don't like Sunday nights because the next day, the energy of Sunday night is very much like, okay, gotta get ready for the work week. Gotta get my mind in the job persecution mode, you know? Job, Hebrew for job is persecution. To be persecuted. Persecuted. So your Sunday night, it's like, so let's just say you go to sleep at midnight, right? Sunday night, it's 7 o'clock, and you know, your spouse, no, let's just say, you know, no one's doing anything. You call a couple friends, no one wants to do anything, and you kind of committed to going on Netflix and watching some Netflix, or you kind of committed to staying home and calling it a evening. You know, and and you're like excited about it, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna call it evening. I'm gonna get up at really early tomorrow, you know? And then at 7:30, a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time calls you up out of the blue and says, hey, I'm here for 5 hours, let's hang out. And all of a sudden you're like, bam, you got so much energy, you get up and you do like a Superman thing, and you rip off your shirt and you put on another shirt, and you are out. And you didn't have coffee. Where do you get the energy from? Where do you get it from? You got it from yourself. You just transmuted energy without even knowing it. Okay? Because you're lethargic, and then all of a sudden, because you're in your thought of your regular logic self, you know, like, oh shit, I gotta work this many hours this week, I gotta make this much money, I gotta pay these bills, okay, I talk too much on my Verizon, you know, and bill's gonna be like $300, oh my gosh, what the heck? You know, logic comes in place. It's heavy. It's like, you feel like you're heavy. And then your friend calls you and you don't think about that anymore. And you're like, wow, you think about all the fun times you had with him. You think about the shenanigans you guys did back in the day. And you feel light, and that's energy. Because you went back, there's no time. You went back in another reality. You didn't go back in time. Time is an illusion. This is just pictures. It's just frames. 24 frames per second. So you went back in time. You went back in reality. You went back to another reality, a parallel reality, and you took that emotion out and you placed it in your current reality. And that's what you did. And you did that without even knowing, right? But imagine if you know how to do that. Imagine if you know how to do that on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. Then every moment you want it to count, right? Every single moment. You don't want to waste it on people that complain all the time. You don't want to be around news that's all bad news and always putting in that lack or that fear or that that heavy energy of like hate or of oh my God, I gotta hide myself because there's a terrorist act, and I gotta already put up a face of like, oh, I'm one of you. You know, it's like, you know what? That's all. I mean, just if people in our community just turn off the damn freaking TV, that includes Jadoo. I mean, they freaking watch Jadoo all day long. But they're so scared of the word magic, you know? But they watch the freaking Jadoo the whole freaking night, right? And what are they doing? They're just feeding into programming that a light goes inside them. And since they don't use their imagination, it goes in through the... Well, actually, you know what? Actually, it does. This does go in the imagination. Because you're zombified. That light goes into your imagination. And you logically believe it. And you kind of act upon that subconsciously. And you think that's normal, you know? You think the people in those family dramas that they have in like Jadoo, you think that's a normal existence, you know? That you think that those issues are important of you know, why is this person not marrying this person, or why you know, is the nikah, I don't know, why is the older sister not married yet and the younger sister wants to get married? You know, it's a bunch of crap that they feed you in your reality, and you make it part of your being, you know? It becomes part of your light body. It feeds your soul. That's what you're feeding your soul. When you don't understand this stuff, you feed it just whatever anybody gives it, you feed it. You feed it the lower desires of wanting to feel like you belong in a group, or wanting to that you're cool enough to hang out with these people, or you made it in society because you have this or that, or you haven't made it because you don't have this or that, or you're not normal, or you're this. This is what, if you don't understand energy and how to work with it, and how to understand yourself and your spirit and your soul and your body, and how to take command of your body from your mind, and have the mind being controlled by that divine spark in you, you know, and then have the mind subconsciously follow the orders of the divine spark. But it's hard. You have to always be on your toes, because there's so much false light out here. There's so much out here that you have to always have to program yourself. When you look in the mirror, you can't look at, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. No, you look in the mirror, you always look at yourself and just say, you aren't that reflection. You aren't that reflection. You aren't. Because what's reflecting, what part of your brain has conjured up what that reflection is. You know, when you look at your reflection, do you see a old person? Do you see a person that, oh gosh, oh tired, oh I gotta do this, you know? when you look in the mirror and you subconsciously think those things, you are programming yourself to be that person that you are thinking about just by looking in the mirror. Okay, but okay, that's enough for today. But yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's American Desi _guru. Okay, American Desi _guru, and also my Facebook page is well, I'm gonna use this one as my main platform, talking about the stuff. But I'm gonna upload these videos onto my other page, which is Beyond the Rant. Beyond the Rant, like, you know, people rant. No, just go beyond it. So Beyond the Rant. Okay, take care. Assalamu alaikum, and happy Friday. You know, Friday, like I said, these days are exactly that. They're just putting you in a daze. You know, back in the time of the ancients, you know, they had specific energies. That's it, you know? Like, for example, Friday is the energy of beauty, of love, of like compassion, you know. Saturday is the energy of they made it the energy of like of, you know, Saturdays, what do? You do your household duties, and you know, it's about structure and doing those things. You know, Monday's like moon. No, Monday's Mars. I think Monday's Mars. Monday's Mars. It's like that war energy, you know, the warrior energy. Now you gotta be a warrior to go to work, you know. And it's they set up society that way. They put 7 days in a week, you know, and they allocated each day to harness those energies of that day, you know. And it's by design. You know, everything's by design. It's not by chance or by evolution or some, oh, it just happened like this. No, this is by design. Societies are designed, you know. Civilizations are designed. This is by design. It's not by coincidence that payday is Friday and everybody's in a happy mood, you know, and then they're happy and they go to the movies, you know. They go out to eat. They go to the mall, you know. On Saturday they go to, and Sunday is Sunday. It's God's day, you know. That's what Christianity, you know. It's Sunday. It's the day to, you know, to but actually it's the day where you harness the energy of the sun, you know. We do need vitamin D3, you know. We can't be scared of the sun. That's another thing. You know, people were scared of the sun, you know. If you are brown, well, everybody has melanin. Everybody has melanin. It's just some people have more than others, right? But unfortunately, in my you know, people in our community, they're usually Desi. They avoid the sun because they don't want to be dark, you know. But think about this: vitamin D3 is not a vitamin. It is a gene inhibitor. It is a key to open up the different the word I'm looking for, different genes, right? The different phenotypes, or different I forget. Unlock different genes in your DNA, right? So when you, for example, when you get sick, how does that cell know what to do, right? It goes in, it unlocks it, and then it unlocks it, and it becomes something that benefits you, right? It fights that disease or whatnot, or that sickness. But if you, but vitamin D3 is only from the sun. You know, you can get it from calcium, but like, you know, the sun is the abundant source of vitamin D3. Sun gazing, Fajr time, you know, that's why we get it for Fajr, you know. Pray to the Creator, and then get your energy, get some vitamin D3, in the morning for 10 minutes, sun gazing, right when the sun's about to pop up, you know, just look at it for 30 seconds at a time. It's not going to be intense. Only when it's very, very, just about breaking sunlight, you can look at it. And that is vitamin D3 that you have. Now you have abundance of vitamin D3 in your melanin. So melanin holds light. It holds light. It holds energy. Light. That's consciousness. That is how our body functions, right? I mean, things have to know what to do. Like a cell has to know from the DNA what to do, and it can't open the DNA if it's constricted. And if it, oh, that's another thing. When you live in a very constrictive environment, when you are in fear, when you are in lack or depression, then your DNA constricts. It is like a spring. It is sprung down, you know. But if you live a balanced life, and you have healthy food that benefits your body, that gives it the right source of energy it needs, and you think properly, and you have a balanced life, you know, you're not in the fear, not caught up in the illusion, then your DNA chain opens up. And if you have abundance of vitamin D3, you have more keys to open that DNA. So you can think higher thoughts. You can imagine higher things, because that's energy. You need energy to imagine that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's totally another video, but I think I'll get into that video next time. But I hope you enjoyed what I talked about. Not just enjoyed it, but I hope you digested it. I hope it penetrated you. Yeah, look, you know, it's a new world, you know. It's a new era, but it's not new age. This is not new age. This is not new age. New age is another system that's telling you this is how you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to get these things. You have to have incense. You have to have these things. Then it'll help you. And if it doesn't, then you have to do this way, that way. That's just another like logical, you know, path. You know. But hey, if that's what you want, that's up to you. But when you start encroaching on my free will and my freedom to create in my own life abundance that I desire, then I have a problem. Okay. But I try to avoid those problems as much as I humanly can. All right, take care, everyone, and yeah, please discuss. Take care.